My name is Silva Godwin. I am a technician, a phone and a computer technician. This has been the business that has sustained me. Whatever financial gains that I have, whatever it is that I have financially has always come from this business. So I would say it's an honest, a worthy, good source of livelihood.
Welcome to today's episode of Tales of Triumph here on SCREENSAGE TV. Tales of Triumph is a program designed to x-ray a course of action undertaken by individuals that have resulted in continuous progress for them. A legitimate, effective, and adaptable course that anyone who desires success can follow on their journey to greatness. We do hope you will be informed, motivated, and encouraged by the story of our guest today, as our utmost desire is to see you succeed in your chosen career.
The journey started a very long time ago, say 15 years or thereabouts. I used to do phone calls back in the days when business centers were running. People had no GSM. Personally, I owned no GSM. So they were going to business centers to make calls, and I owned one of those. Usually people will have issues with their phones and they'll bring them to me. What I could do at the time was to check the settings. I knew the functions of the phone, and I could do the settings for them. Whenever they mess up the settings of their phone, they'll bring them to me and I do fix them for them. People kept bringing phones with hardware issues. I couldn't fix those ones, and then from there they encouraged me to go for training. And I saw that, okay, if I go for training, apprenticeship that is, I could learn better and take it up as a profession. So that's where it started. That was in early 2000. Do I have a formal training in this business? No. I did not go to a university to learn this. I did not particularly go to a technical school to learn this. I learned on the job. I've been an apprentice over and over. I've actually been learning from people. Like I said earlier, I learned it from someone back then, early 2000s, and then afterwards, over time, I keep going for training. What I do is I see people who are into the same business and they are quite good at it. People that are very well skilled at it, I go to them and I learn. What is my educational background? And how does it connect to what I am doing now? I am a school dropout. I'm actually a high school dropout. I only have junior secondary school education. So when I said earlier that all that I've been doing, all the job I've had in my life has to do with IT, as an IT technician, has to do with mobile phones and computers. That's all I've done all my life. I do not have any college education. I do not have any, I do not have a degree, so to say. Yes. Now, why I stopped at junior secondary school, there were lots of reasons, a couple of reasons why I chose to stop school. First, I wanted to go into music. My goal was to go into music. I was 17 years old. I left home, came to Abuja, just disappeared for 12 years. My family didn't know if I was alive, if I was dead. So I came into Abuja to pursue music. And back then I had people in music that I looked up to, and a lot of them were school dropouts. Tupac was a school dropout. Biggie was a school dropout. So I looked up to those people, and I felt, okay, if these people dropped out of school and they could do it, why won't I be able to do the same thing? So I left school so I could pursue music. In that area of music, I feel that's one reason. And then I lost interest at some point. I lost interest in school. I was in a private school, and then things got rough. Finances got rough in the home, in our family. And then I was moved to a public school. I am not a dullard. I'm not a dumb person. I'm a smart. I pride myself as a smart individual. So when I got into a public school where if I could sit for just 1 or 2 tests, I would be one of the best students in class. It was just so boring. Teachers were not just helping in that public school. I will tell you that I did a few years in secondary in SS1, and we did lots of indices. I remember this very well. That's the first topic in mathematics, in SS1 mathematics. We did that for 2 terms. it was so boring. Education became boring. It was so boring in public school. So I told myself, what's the point? What's the point? I'm smart enough to do without education. So it's been like that. And I tried a couple of times to get back into school, but then somehow I was too lazy to go back. So how has the journey been for me? It's a business, and like every business, it has its upsides and its downsides. I built this business. I started building a business hawking. As a teenager back then, I used to hawk recharge cards those early days, and then I moved from that to phone call business. And I moved from phone call business, business centers as they were known back then, to repairs, doing repairs, selling accessories, and doing the calls as at the time in a kiosk. And I moved from there to owning that kiosk and two stores in two other locations, one in Suleja, one in Kubwa. But then I lost those businesses. All of those stores all got shut down. So there were times when I had a whole lot of challenges, whole lot of difficulties. Even coming back into the business, it was a huge challenge. So when I got back in 2018, when I decided, I went and did other things. I wanted to become a DJ. I wanted to become a photographer. I wanted to become a real estate agent. I did a whole lot of things. And then I came back to the business some years later, told myself, okay, come back to your first love, what you actually truly know how to do best. So that was when this journey, this other phase of the journey started. And when it started, it was quite difficult. It was a dream for me to own a store. When I moved here to Banex, it was a dream for me to own a store, but the funds were not coming. So it was a difficult challenge. And but somehow, as I realized that my skills were not good enough. My skill was not good enough at the time to fetch me the kind of money that I needed. So I went back for training, hooked up with someone else who was very good at, who was much better than I was in the business. And I also learned for a couple of months, then came back. So ever since, that was when the journey started, properly started. I was able to rent my store, this place, the small place. I was able to rent this place and began to build it. So there've been a lot of challenges. There've been a lot of achievements. There's been growth, growth, and one day at a time there's been growth. There's been growth. What was responsible for the challenges I had? First off, when I said I lost my business in 3 locations, that was because of my lifestyle. It was because of my lifestyle. I began to live an extravagant lifestyle. I was spending much more than I was making, so I spent into even my capital. So my lifestyle, it was women, it was alcohol, it was clubbing, all kinds of things. I felt like a big boy. I felt like I had a lot of money. So I was just spending every weekend. You want to spend a whole lot of money. You want to buy clothes. You want to wear the finest clothes and all of those. So my extravagant lifestyle was the first problem that led to the loss of my business in 3 locations. And then at some point, I began to feel embarrassed about being a technician. I wasn't comfortable to introduce myself as a technician, so I wanted to do other things. I felt doing phone repairs was beneath me. Doing that kind of business was beneath me. So I started looking for other things that would raise my status. Yeah, there's something that would raise my status. That was when I went into, I wanted to become a DJ. I wanted to become an entertainer. So I started training as an entertainer, as a DJ. I bought a lot of equipment. I spent money training and all of those. The monies that I would have used to stay in the business that I was doing, I spent it doing, pursuing those things, pursuing another business. And then that did not work for me. I thought, okay, why not go and sell real estate? Real estate, there's a lot of money in real estate. So why not go and sell real estate? I spent a whole lot of time trying to sell real estate. But in all of those things, I was never successful. So I would say the first problem I had was my extravagant lifestyle, and then the second problem I had was my lack of focus. I didn't have a definite goal. I didn't have a definite life purpose. So, and then the second one again is when I moved away, I had businesses in the suburbs. My businesses were in the suburbs, those locations were in the suburbs. The kinds of phones that we fixed in those suburbs were different from the kinds of phones you fix in a place like Barnex Plaza in Wuse too. So when I moved to Barnex Plaza, my skills were not adequate. So I was not competent. Did I solve those problems? Absolutely, I solved those problems. I realized what my problems were and I solved them. The first thing, my extravagant lifestyle, I gave it up completely. Right now, I don't care about how fancy that cloth is. I don't care how fine that woman is. I don't even drink alcohol anymore. I don't go to the bars and all of those things. So I completely gave up that kind of lifestyle. And then secondly, I stayed focused. I picked up this business as the business that I want to run, and I started running that business. Whenever somebody would introduce me to another business, I'll say, bro, I don't know how to run that business. This is the one I know how to do, and I want to stay in this one. People tell me, oh, look, there's this new thing, it fetches money, it's very lucrative, you get money like very easily. No, I say no, this is what I know how to do, and I've stayed focused. That's the second solution I brought in. And then the third one, which was actually the most important of all, is I went back to retrain myself. Now I got competence. The things that I could not do before as a technician, now I know how to do very well. And the moment that competence came in, the business changed, because now customers can truly trust you with their devices. And when you can truly do what you do them very well, you certainly will make money. And when you're making money, you enjoy the business, you want to stay in that business. So yes, I've discovered those problems and I found solution to the challenges. At what point did I convince myself that this is the craft, this is the business for me? I would say the year 2018. The year 2018, I was with a company selling real estate. Even though I was still doing this business part-time. I would come once in a while, but then I spent more time pursuing other things. So in 2018, I told myself that this is the business I know how best to do, so I must stay in it. I just did a rough calculation. And I said to myself, if you have a business where you could make 10,000 naira a day, why not stay in it? Because by the time you calculate 10,000 naira times 6 and you multiply that by a month, I think it's a good income. So I told myself, why don't I stay in this business? Because it's definitely going to give me the income that I need to support myself and to support my family. And then I also looked at the fact that there's potential. It's not just about, okay, making 5,000 naira a day or making 10,000 naira a day. There's a whole lot of potential in the business. I could take it as far as I wanted. I tried it one time. I had stores in 3 locations. Who says if I stay in this business and work hard at it, I will not have multiple locations all over the country? So I told myself in 2018 that I was going to stay in it. And that was when I went for retraining and stayed ever since in the business. What has kept me going in the business and who is my motivation in the business? Other than the fact that the business is lucrative, a lot of people may not believe that phone repairs or computer repairs can give you the income that supports a grown-up person and a man with a family actually. And the dream I have for the business, like I mentioned earlier, the possibility of me owning not just business, this store, a bigger store and more stores. Some other things that also keep me is the joy that my clients get when their faulty devices are repaired. A whole lot of times it brings joy to people's hearts. So I love to do that. A lot of times it's not really that money, but then when I see, somebody comes in, I know how important their gadgets are, and then they bring them in, it's repaired, they are living with so much joy. It gives me joy. I go to bed really, really happy. I go to bed a happy person. So the joy that my business brings to the customers, to my clients, is one of the reasons also that keeps me in the business. And then who are my motivation in this business? There are lots of people. There are lots of people that I have seen, I've heard their stories. I love to hear stories, and I love stories of success. They tell me how they started from a table, from a very little tiny space, and then have moved past that, and now they've built a formidable, built an outstanding business, built a business, really lucrative, well-stocked mobile phone store or computer store. So those are the people that actually motivate me in this business. So when I look at those, when I hear those stories and I see them, and I say, if this person can do it, if this person can do it, I certainly can also do it. So those people are my motivation. How would I describe business in Nigeria? I would say in my line of business, really, there are lots of challenges here in Nigeria. I remember my store one time when I used to have this issue with the local government and the state government back then coming to collect taxes every day. I think they call it multiple taxation. It's actually one big challenge that a lot of us face in business. Different agencies are coming to collect money from you, and they call them all kinds of names. It's one of those challenges that we face. We face the challenge of electricity. There are times when I go months and I'll have to run my business on generator. I spend a ton of money just running a business on generator. And then now, I think it's not just in Nigeria. In every country, those businesses face challenges. But one of the lessons I would say that I've learned is that whatever challenge that I have faced in business, I find a way to overcome it and to stay in business. So that, to me, is one major lesson that I would say I have learned. Do I have any award to show for my skill? Nah, I don't have any awards. And I'm not the kind of person that I don't think I like trophies that much that I always want to go for trophies. Or I've done trainings, I've gone to places where you do trainings and then they issue you certificates. I will tell you that I can't find one. I never collected even one. So I don't really care about awards. I've never had an award. But I'm sure if there were to be awards given to people in this line of business, if we had a platform where such awards had been given over the years, I certainly would have gotten one, because I pride myself as one of the best mobile phone technicians that you can find in Nigeria. What does excellence and hard work mean to me and to my business? I would say it's the most important trait that you can have to run this business and to run any successful business. Now, talking about excellence, I mentioned competence earlier. That is where the money is. If you have competence, you have the skill, you're well-grounded, have well-grounded skill, then you can make money in this business. So it means you know how a phone or a computer circuit board works, you know how the software works, you know how to troubleshoot, you know how to replace components, and then when you replace, you keep the gadget tidy and neat and clean as if it's never been disassembled before. That's what is, that gives you an edge over other people who run this kind of business. And then hard work. If you call me up on a Sunday to come and fix your device, I will come. If you want me to stay to stay till 10 o'clock to get your device fixed, I would stay as late as possible to get your device fixed. I don't take breaks. I hardly take breaks. I'm always working. So hard work is very important, and I always tell myself that if you really want to build this business, you need to work hard, you need to play less, and you need to work more. So excellence and hard work, two of the best traits that you can have to run this kind of business. Do I hope to retire from this business? Yes, soon I would stop fixing gadgets by myself. Yes. That's me just retiring from the desk, from me handling the devices myself. But I will continue to run the business. I'll continue to run. At the moment, I am on the transition. I'm at the transition of moving from repairs to retail. So I'm currently stocking up my shop with gadgets, with used mobile phones and used computers, accessories and all that. So that's the business that I am looking forward to doing long term. So if there's a need for retirement, it's going to be when I'm really ripe. When I'm really ripe of age, I'm old, I'm aged, and I can no longer work. That's when I retire from the business. What advice would I give to my younger self? I made a whole lot of mistakes as a young man. The 3 mistakes I mentioned earlier, my extravagant lifestyle, my lack of focus, and my inadequate skill. Those are the things that if I was to advise my younger self, I would say, Silva, stay focused. Silva, live the extravagant lifestyle. Silva, delay gratification. I'll tell myself to work hard on my business, to learn more, to learn the skill, be well grounded at it. So those are some of the advice that I would give my younger self. Do I read? Yes, I love books. I've always loved books. As a child, I've always loved books, and I do not do without books. We could go inside and then you see lots of books, big volumes. That's what I read. I read a lot, and I read daily. A day a day does not go by that I do not read. I take it, I'm deliberate about it. If I don't have a hardcover, I don't have a hard copy on in my hands, I ensure that I listen to an audio book. So I read, I study. I don't joke with my personal developments. How has that helped me? It's helped me immensely. Now I can go anywhere and I will tell people that I only had junior secondary school education, and a lot of people would not believe. It's because I read. It's because I read. So it helped me. There are places where I'll have to always tell somebody. Maybe you have a conversation and it gets to education, and I do not want to lie about it. Then I tell you that, okay, I'm a school dropout. This is a little education. So it helped me. I go to places, people don't question my credentials. They don't question my ability, they don't question my skills, because they look at me and say, oh, this guy is so well spoken, he communicates so excellently, why not? So it helped me to understand, like reading has actually helped me to understand, like, because I read all kinds of books, it helped me to understand, like, helps me to even take charge of my own life, because at the point where I decided to go into this business and to stay with it, it was because of the books that I read, things that I've learned from other people, people who dropped out of school, even those who went to school, and then how they ran their business, how they came from obscurity to fame and all of that. So those things are some of the stories that I've read in books and listened to people talk about that have actually helped me. And it's reading has actually helped me a whole lot, yeah. Okay, how do I catch up with trends in the industry? It's online. There's a lot of information online. YouTube is a school. YouTube is a school. So whatever it is, are you looking for a solution for a problem, to fix a faulty gadget? Go on YouTube. It's a whole lot of massive information that you'll find there. So you can always see, is it a new gadget that is in the market or is in the making? You find all of those on YouTube. So it's online. I keep up with trends in my business, by always going online to research. Yeah. Okay. Entertain my audience. Something humorous in my line of business. Okay, so a man brought his phone to me for me to repair one time. It was liquid damage. He told us a story. He said his baby peed on the gadget, and that was not enough for him. He had to use water again to wash that. He was actually we laughed, all of us that were in that store. Oh God, wait now, how? There was already the liquid in it now, and then you added water on it to wash the liquid. What is that supposed to do? So it was actually very funny, and lots of other funny incidents that we've actually had in a line of business. Matter of fact, I think on a daily basis, things just happen that are quite funny, really. So why should you hire me to fix your gadgets? So one of the reasons why you will hire me to fix your gadgets is because I am a well-grounded, well-trained technician. I understand circuit board. I know how well to replace components. I handle your device with so much care, and I handle your device with excellence. I'm always there when you need me to fix your device. If you want your device to be well repaired and you do not want to, take your device to a place where after it's been done, it's worse than how you took it in, I am the person you should call on, because you bring your device and it goes back almost new. I would say, sometimes I say, and make your smart gadgets smart again. Where do I see myself in the next 5 years? I talk a lot about now this is my goal. This is my goal. I want to build this store. It's a small store yet. So I want to build it and make it a bigger store in the next couple of years, and then expand from here to other locations. So if I work hard enough, I would be able to have 5 to 10 stores in other locations in 5 years if I work really, really hard. So that's my goal in 5 years. My parting words now would be, I usually would like, if I could, to use my mistakes to teach people. And whenever I find myself, especially amongst artisans, I am one, I see the problems that they face. I do not expect an artisan to struggle. If you're good at what you do, I do not expect you to struggle. I do not expect you to have, financial difficulty. Like, you can't fend for yourself. I see artisans begging for money and all of those things. So I want to advise, if there's an artisan listening to me, I want to advise, if you're not good at what you do, please learn it. If you need to go back and learn that skill, go back, relearn that skill, and be grounded. Have that skill, have competence in your field. And again, build trust. Be honest. Be honest in your dealing, because that's one of the things that is lacking in this kind of businesses. Carpenters, all kinds of artisans. People have complaints that we lack honesty. So I would say, please learn to be honest, and customers will trust you, and you have a thriving business.
We are sure you can juxtapose the story of our guest today with other stories of successful people who you must have heard. They are usually driven by curiosity, which gives birth to vision in them, and by sheer passion and consistency. Even in the face of opposition, they succeed against all odds. Until we come your way again with another interesting episode of Tales of Triumph, we urge you to please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification button so you don't miss any of our interesting episodes. From us all at SCREENSAGE TV, we say bye for now.